All right, so I'm back. So here, this is what she's saying. One thing that I forgot, she said, I don't know what's going on in his life, but he seems to be very paranoid. She said, because I pick up on the fact that he stayed with a gun on him. And not in the sense of, oh, I have this gun to protect myself, but more so, I have this gun on myself in case anything pop off and I need to handle business. And how he's constantly looking, side to side and on a, in, what are you saying, behind him in case some shit pop off. Now, she helped me with this because I'm like, I had no idea this stuff was going on. And frankly, I really didn't ask because I really didn't care. I mean, at the time, I'm like, he ain't my man. In the sense where, because he's not my man, I really don't give a fuck what he do. When he's not with me. This was my thinking at the time. I'm like, I don't give two shits about what he does when he is not in my presence. That's his business. The questions that I asked most of the time was out of like curiosity. When I asked him about his tattoo and the fact that he told me that when he was in jail, I was just like, oh, so what happened? And he told me that, but I really didn't ask that many questions outside of what his sexual health was like, and that was in the very beginning, and if he was engaged or married, and that was in the beginning. But other than that, I'm like, let's chill, have fun, enjoy the moment while we're here, and then, you leave, whatever, and that be that. Y'all. Crazy. So, one thing I do want to shout out, so I want to say, Queen of Wands, Divinely Guided Tarot, thank you. You helped me put a lot of the shit together when I didn't know what the fuck was going on. I knew something was awry, but I didn't know to the full extent. So then there was a point where I called another psychic. I'm going to shout her out. She goes by the name of AEL, okay? Let me make sure. AEL Tarot. She was a psychic that I watched on YouTube, and a lot of her readings I had resonated with, but I really wasn't sure if it was my situation because I didn't know what was going on behind the scenes. And one of the first things that she picked up on, a few things that the other psychic had picked up on, but there was a portion where she picked up on stuff that the other psychic didn't even touch on. And there were a lot of things that were shared and said, but the one thing that I remember distinctly was she said, that woman, she said, listen here. I can't do the accent, so I'm not going to try, okay? But she said, that woman is evil. You hear me? Evil. And she said, if you stay in this situation, this just may be your life. This is what she told me. And I'm thinking like, what the fuck is he into? This is what I was thinking, because I didn't know. I didn't ask either. And she said, leave that man alone, because she said the cost could be your life. And she said she is nothing to play with, and that she is heavily involved in that. She said in that black magic stuff. Okay. She does a lot of that, she said. She's heavily involved in that black magic stuff. Leave her and him alone, because that could be your life. And those were the last words that I remember that was etched in my brain from our conversation. Okay. I'm trying to remember. Because again, this was back in 2020, so there were a lot of things that have happened since then. There was a time where I heard her. Did I take her advice? No. I still was messing with him. I kept the information that she shared with me. I kept the information that Pat, sorry, I said her name. I said her first name, but Divinely Guided Tarot, Queen of Wands, Divinely Guided Tarot. I kept the information that she had shared with me close to my chest. And I remember there were times where he had difficulty sleeping when he was over. There were some times that he would be able to sleep through the night, but a lot of times his sleep was intermittent. He couldn't go to sleep. And so here my thinking is, I just discovered these crystals that help with people. Just put them under your pillow. And it will help for people who have bad dreams, because that's what I thought he may have been suffering from. Little did I know that this dude was probably on the run on some shit. And I'm not talking about the police. I'm talking about on the run from some street shit, which is probably why he couldn't go to sleep, or maybe on the run from whichever woman he was dealing with at the time, because he would constantly go to my windows and look through the blinds. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like what your girl was doing when I realized I was being gang-stalked. I started looking through the blinds. It's funny because I'm just now making that connection. And I remember him lifting up the pillow and he looking at me like, what's this? Why you put this under the pillow? And then I said, I saw it. I said, I came across a YouTube video that spoke about this crystal and how it helps to aid sleep. I said, see, I even put one under mine. But he still looked at me like on some suspect shit. Like maybe I was trying to do something to him, which couldn't have been further from the truth. I was just like, I realized that this man wasn't sleeping, and he was sleeping intermittently, and the dude was looking through blinds and shit. So I'm thinking I'm being helpful. Well, let me go ahead and help you with a crystal. It was called stromalite, that will help and assist with sleeping. And because he has difficulty sleeping, I'm now having difficulty sleeping. You see what I'm saying? So that's how come that was my thought process. Well, shit, we both can't sleep. Let me see what the fuck that happens if I put this damn crystal up under the pillows for both of us. I wasn't all that knowledgeable on crystals as I am now, but it was just things that I had learned along the way. Okay. Y'all, it's just so much. It's so much. So after a while, I saw that he relaxed. The next thing you know, I remember he had hit me up and he had asked me if he could stay at my place. Around this time, we're probably like 8-9 months in of seeing each other. Still not exclusive, but still seeing each other, And he asked me if he could stay at my place. And I said, why? Because he told me he got kicked out the house. I said, you got kicked out the house by your aunt? Like, what the fuck did you have to do with your aunt? So I remember, because I think this was like around, I don't remember the exact date, y'all. I probably would. I can recall it if I did, automatic writing session. But offhand, off the rip, I can't remember the exact date, but I do know that his birthday was coming up. And so I remember asking him, because at this point I'm thinking shit fishy. So I'm like, but before that he asked me, well, you mind if I, stay? He was just like, I'll help you with the bills. I'll even sleep on the couch. You know what I'm saying? I'll be respectful. I won't bring nobody. I know you won't be bringing nobody over my. But he was just like, I'll be respectful. I just need a place to stay just until I figure this stuff out. So my ass said, all right, we'll do this on a trial basis. I'll let you stay for a week and we'll see how things go. If things go okay or well, then we'll extend it and we'll go from there. And he said he would pay me on a weekly basis for helping him out and allowing him to stay, because he also said that his hours and what he did was intermittent. So he was just like, he can afford to pay me this much for allowing him to stay. Well, y'all, it didn't even last a week. Why? Because the first night that he ended up staying at my place, he left the next day to go to work, and he said he had to drive somewhere and meet somebody. And I believe he said he had to make a trip to Maryland. I think it was Baltimore at the time. And he went to Baltimore and he stayed over whoever's house that he went to. So then I'm like, okay, if you got a place to stay, you don't need to stay in my place. And that's exactly what I told him. You know what I'm saying? And I was just like, yeah, take your stuff, and stay wherever you stayed at. Because obviously you don't need the help that bad. You're not that bad on your luck. But I remember him telling me that he had gotten kicked out of his aunt's house. I think I'm going to stop right here. And then I'll come back for another one. All right, so I'll see you on the other side.